Hi, everyone. I'm Beth Rogan. I'm the Associate Director of Educational Partnerships here at William James College, to welcome you to our info session today about our a Bachelor of Science in Psychology and Human Services completion program. So thank you for joining us. I'd like to also introduce or have my colleagues introduce themselves. Jen, do you want to start?
Hi, everyone. My name is Jen. I am an admissions counselor here in the Office of Admissions at William James College. I work primarily with the Bachelor of Science in Psychology and Human Services completion program. So I'm excited to be here today to talk to you a little bit about the admissions process and what we look for in candidates and what's required for admission. So thank you for joining us. And I will turn it over to Dr. Augusto.
I'm Dr. Augusto. I am the Director of Undergraduate Studies, which means I basically oversee everything in this program with regard to its curriculum. So I work very closely with Jen and also with Beth in bringing in the students who we think are the best fit for our program. I can speak to most of the questions that you might have that have to do with, will your credits transfer and what courses do we offer and that kind of thing. And I'm happy to be here.
Great, thank you. So we can move on to our next slide. So my role today will be to sort of be acting as your host, just to provide a little bit of an overview about William James College and to also help to facilitate the questions. So we hope you do ask questions because that makes this much more kind of engaging and interesting presentation. And also we're here for you. So we want to really address your questions. You can put your questions in the Q&A box there, and then we'll address them. We have a slide or two where we'll be addressing questions. Thank you so much in advance for putting your questions in. Okay, so William James College. This is a picture of a facade of our building, kind of almost about this time of year, I think. Yesterday, I did see quite a few students sitting outside on our picnic tables and out on our lawn. I was really excited to see that. But what I love to say about this slide, it's a state-of-the-art building. We're doing wonderful things to even continue to improve the building, but it's what's inside the building and the culture here at William James College. We are a college of psychology and behavioral health. So that's our focus, and it really does set us apart from other schools and programs. So we're located, the building itself is located in Newton, Mass, right outside of Boston, about 15 minutes in non-rush hour traffic. But, again, we have a delivery system where you don't have to be on campus all the time. So you'll hear more about that. And with that, we're going to move on to our next slide. And what I wanted to do here is just introduce you to a little bit of information about all of the offerings and the programs that we have on the academic side here at William James College. So it does give you a sense here that, there's a lot happening. There's many programs. And with that, we have an amazing group of students and faculty that are within all of these different departments. So the clinical department is where you'll see there's clinical psychology, the doctoral program in clinical psychology. And that was our first program here at William James College about 50 years ago. So we've been around. And then you can also see that we have a counseling program. And some of our students from the bachelor's program have enrolled in both the counseling and the doctoral programs after they've graduated, which is very exciting. And you can see that clinical mental health counseling leads to a license to become an independent counselor. And we also have that, again, online and on campus. And we do have a certificate program that is also of interest to some folks in crisis response and behavioral health. In addition, we have organizational leadership psychology. And I like to highlight there's a course related to that in the program. And it's just a really interesting field where our students and faculty are working within organizations and systems to create positive change, efficient environments, really working to look at things like what does an HR department want to do or need to do for their folks, DEI issues and so on. So it's really a cool pathway too as well. And of course, you're going to hear about the undergraduate program today. The school department offers school psychology, which is a master's and a CAGS program, as well as ABA. So you'll hear those are also offerings that we have. And then you can see we have lots of centers of excellence where we're providing direct care services, advocacy, and so on. So a lot happening here at the college, and we hope that you become part of that. All right, so we'll move on to the next slide. And this is where I'm going to hand off the program to Dr. Augusto.
So I'm thrilled to talk about our bachelor's degree program. It's a little bit different. It always says bachelor's degree, and I always want to say bachelor's completion. So it's really important to understand that we do offer the completion program, which is really the equivalent of your last 2 years of your undergraduate, so the junior, senior level courses. Students can come in with fewer than 60 credits, or you don't have to have an associate's degree, but many do. But once you get here, the really great part about our program is you're immersed in psychology and human services. And the other big thing to notice I keep saying psychology and human services. Our program is pretty much designed to be almost a double major. We're meeting all the criteria for psychology, and we're meeting all the criteria for a bachelor's in human services. Why? Because our students sometimes want to go on in the field of social work. Sometimes they want to go on in the field of counseling psychology or other things. But social work really is aligned with human services, and psychology is really more aligned with counseling. So we are making sure that you are prepared to do either one, should that be your ultimate goal. Jen, you want to turn? Great. So I have 3 big ideas as I present the program, and these 3 big ideas actually align with our core values at William James: social responsibility, personal growth, and experiential education. The importance of these is they tell us who we are, what we do, and who we serve. All 3 are important parts. Go ahead, Jen. So I start with social responsibility. When we talk about social responsibility at William James, it's important to think that we are creating people to go out and meet a need. There is a huge need right now for people to work in human services and psychology, and not just as psychologists and psychiatrists and people all up at this top level, but we need people at the bachelor's level desperately. So we are training people to go into that field and feel confident that they know what they're doing, they know how to do it, and they can make a difference in the lives of others. Go ahead, Jen. The second piece that we had in here is really our commitment to diversity, inclusion, social justice, and intercultural understanding. Beth had showed you some of our areas of concentration across the college, but this is really something where William James walks the walk. I think if you go to any school right now, they will tell you we're committed to diversity. We focus on diversity issues. These are kind of buzzwords everywhere. But at William James, it's not a buzzword. It's really important to who we are. It's part of our accreditation review. It's part of everything we talk about. It's part of the fabric of who we are. And you'll notice that even some of the events that happen, like we'll have lunchtime talks, or we'll have little presentations that faculty will give for the whole campus, but for anyone to attend, they're always infused with issues of diversity, social justice, things along those lines. Our field placement experiences, we try to place students in positions where they're working with underserved populations. Those are the neediest people out there, and we want to be able to meet that need. Go ahead. Personal growth is the last big idea that I have. Actually, it's the second big idea, and my numbers are here. But the personal growth is another really important thing here, because what we're trying to do is make sure that you come to an understanding of who you are today, who you want to be tomorrow, and beyond. And who you want to be will change. So right now, we typically bring in students who are adult learners. As it says on the slide here, many of our students are parents or caregivers. They work 1 or sometimes 2 or even 3 jobs. They have a whole full life outside of school, and they're returning to school to enrich that life and also the lives of the people around them. Because of that, we approach education here with an adult learner lens. We realize that it's important that you are known. Yes, our programs are hybrid. There's a lot of online, but that does not mean that you log in like it's a correspondence course and you do your work and then you get a grade. Not at all. Our faculty are online, they're present, we have residencies, we have weekly meetings with students, and we just actually started a community building initiative where we took a field trip with students and we do some online games and fun activities with students. So we build community, we make sure we know you, you know us, that's important, and it feeds into the idea that respect is a two-way street. We know that you have other obligations. We know that your lives are complex. And so one of my favorite phrases that Beth and Jen hear me say all the time is that we really try to think about how can we make school fit around your life rather than asking you to make your life fit around school, because your life is more complex. And so we will work with you to make that happen. And so we have lots of options between part-time and full-time and having hybrid courses, etc. Go ahead, Jen. And here's our last point, the experiential education. Experiential education is, again, a real core value at William James. It's probably what we're known for from the undergraduate level right up through the PsyD level, for having lots of opportunities for this. The students who come into our program typically come in with 45 to 60 credits. They are looking to work in the field, but many of them already work in the field. So if you already work in the field, great. We can help you expand your skill set and get some new experiences. But if you don't work in the field at all, that's okay too. I have students right now who have degrees in music theory. I have a student right now, I have several nursing students. I have people who've never been a psychology major anywhere at any time, and they come in and we train them to be really excellent psychology students and employees in the human service sector. Go ahead. So then we have our field sites. So regardless of where you come from, you're going to be able to do some experiential learning here. If you're coming from an associate's degree program, you've probably done some field education. If you are not coming from an associate's degree program, you might be employed in human services, or you might be employed completely outside the sector of human services, and you might be just a little bit anxious about how am I going to do this work if I've never done it before. Well, our field education is where we help you make that transition or grow where you currently are. These are some of the places that we have put students for their field placement. This list is growing daily. We have a field placement professional who works with our students. She is dedicated solely to the process of helping students find the right field placement for them, help them get oriented to that field placement, and then she tracks you through your whole placement. So while you do need to have input into where you want to work, you don't have to do it yourself. We have someone who will help you find that. And one of the best things that we have is what we call job as placement, which I think shows up later in the slides, but I'll mention it here as well, because it is somewhat unique to what we do at William James, and it's helpful to a lot of our students. Because many of our students do work in the field of human services in some way, shape, or form, we know that you might be working 40 hours a week or 60 hours a week, and you don't have another 10 hours a week to devote to an internship. So what we do is our field placement coordinator works with your employer to arrange so that you will do something new in your job. So you're learning and expanding your skills, expanding that resume, and she will work with them so that that happens during your work day at the place where you work with the people that you work with. So if it is your preference to do your internship where you currently are, we make sure you're still learning and growing, but we also facilitate that. If you would like to do your internship somewhere else, we'll facilitate that as well. Go ahead. So this brings us down to our program options and course delivery. We do have full-time and part-time options. It is important to think about the fact that all of our programs are year-round. We do 2 accelerated little short semesters in the summer where students take fewer courses over a short period of time, and then we have a fall and a spring semester. But you can spread that out depending on whether you're full-time or part-time. Our courses are considered asynchronous, online, or hybrid is what we call it. We have a Saturday residency for every one of our courses where all of the students in that course will come in for 3 hours for that course. These dates are given to you well in advance. You'll know the times of them. Typically, they go from 10 to 1 or from 2 to 5. And that Saturday residency is usually early in the semester. It's a great time to get to know all the students in your cohort. If you have a cohort model, you'll have almost the same students throughout your classes. So you'll get to know them and you get to know those teachers one-on-one, see them in real life. In addition to that, we have what's called collaborative sessions. We know that online learning can be isolating. We know that it can feel really overwhelming to sit in your own home all by yourself all the time doing your work. So the collaborative sessions, we have 3 of those per semester, per class. They're held in the evening, usually from 6 to 7, sometimes 7 to 8. And these are times, again, where you can come in and interact with your peers, interact with your professors in real time. Some of it will be teaching some new content, but really what we're focusing on is building connections. We want you to feel comfortable asking questions, knowing people personally, whether it's your classmates or your professors. Those kind of things are important. So the collaborative sessions are there. Now, if you work 3 to 11 and you can't make collaborative sessions, don't worry about it. We also work out a system so those who can't make it to the collaborative sessions get an alternative assignment so that they are caught up and they get the same great experience as everyone else. But our students want to know each other and they want to know us and we want to know them. So we create as many opportunities as we can for that. When you come into the program, no one declares a minor, but after 1 semester, you'll have the option of declaring a minor in addictions counseling or in behavioral health. If you declare a minor, you get a very fixed number of courses that you'll take. You don't have to declare a minor, but many students like to. Then after that, if you have a very high GPA of 3.5 and you would like to enroll in our honors program, you can get involved in that. The honors program allows you to take at least 1 course, sometimes 2, in one of our graduate departments. This is a great money-saving opportunity for those of you who think you might want to go on to get a master's degree. And I know that might feel really, really far away at this point in time, but believe me, time goes quickly when you're coming through here. So if you want to get your master's degree, you can take a graduate level course. You pay for it with your undergraduate rate, which is about 1/3 of the price, and it counts twice. So it counts for your undergraduate degree, and when you go on for a master's degree, you already have 3 or 6 credits when you move in there. So that's a great time-saving and money-saving option that we provide to our students. And I'm really happy to point that last little bullet there. We just started a brand new theater program, if you will. We have something called MAP. MAP is a master's in psychology. It is a non-licensure program. It is usually for people who are working in the field in an administrative capacity or who want to work in that capacity, or sometimes it's for people, I'm going to point to nurses again, who you might get a pay bump if you get your bachelor's degree in psychology. You might get another pay bump or some more responsibilities if you have a master's degree, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in nursing. It might be that your employer lets you continue to be a nurse, do the work you love, but you can have a master's degree in psychology and get that bump. If that's something you're interested in, if you come into our bachelor's program, we have a seamless entry into the MAP program. You simply have your advisor sign off on the piece of paper and you meet with our MAP program advisor so she can tell you all about it, and off you go. So it's almost a straight 3-year shot, if you will, or a 4-year shot if you're part-time, to getting a master's degree. So that's a great option for people as well. Next. Okay, so here's our summary here. Our 3 big ideas that we have. Under social responsibility, it's important for you to also know that we are veteran friendly. We are aware of the rules and regulations for those of you who are veterans. This is part of the reason why we have that on-campus residency, to make sure that your benefits are always covered. We also have people here who are experts in veterans issues, and they will work with you all the way to make sure that that's a seamless process. First generation students and working students, those are our people. Okay, that's who we love. We have a ton of first generation students here, and there's nothing more exciting to me, having been in this field for 30 years, than seeing somebody who is a first generation student succeed. So that's someone we cater to. And for working students, again, that's why we have the program designed the way that we do. We recognize that many of our students may be coming into college super nervous. They have a lot on their plate and they really need support, and we're here to give support. That's for everybody. Personal growth, again, one of the really nice things about being at William James is that all of your faculty are practicing psychologists or mental health professionals. And so we are bringing the current events, if the laws are changing, the world is changing, we are bringing that right into your classes in the moment. And on top of that, we are sitting here surrounded by over 100 other psychologists who have these fabulous specialties. It's the building itself. Sometimes if you come to the building and you do your classes there, you come to visit, or you want to do your homework in the building, some students just come and congregate in an empty room and work together. If you do that, if there's anything that you want to know about psychology, we have someone at William James who can talk to you about it, and probably will talk your ear off because they would love to talk to you about it. So we have people who specialize in forensics, in children, in adolescents, in major mental health issues, in policy and procedure. We have people in leadership, in organizational and industrial psychology. You name it, we've got it. So that's a big place where you can grow by just networking throughout our community and with the people that are in our community. And then experiential learning, again, we're doing the work, we're walking the walk, so you'll be able to do that as well. I think one of the final things that I would say here, Jen and I started at about the same time, and we used to talk to each other that if you come to William James, because it's a community of mental health providers and human service providers, it's almost a little weird, because if you come in and you're sort of frowning a little bit, 10 people will say, "How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you okay? Do you want to talk?" It's a very personable, we're people. Everybody here is a people. They're very kind and caring, and they really, truly want to help you as much as they want to help their clients and everyone else. So it becomes very nurturing very quickly. Jen? And that opens us up for questions. I'll turn it back over to you, Beth, to be our moderator.
Hey, thank you so much. That was amazing. I love to hear Dr. Augusto speak, because every time I hear you bring something a little bit different, and the enthusiasm is amazing. And that's why we love to be here. It is the culture here at the college. So we have a question about full-time and part-time. What does that look like for classes, and how many days a week would that be that you would expect to have homework and need to do work with if you're part-time or full-time?
So a full-time course load for our students is 2 classes. Okay, so it's 6 credits. I'm sorry, a part-time is 2 classes, 6 credits. A full-time is 4 classes or 12 credits. Now, in terms of days of the week, we are asynchronous. So you do not have to be present, other than our residencies, which are kind of sporadic throughout the semester. You don't have to be present on any specific day or any specific time. So that's really up to you how you want to pace your work out. Our courses are not self-paced, so there are deadlines. And the way that we arrange our courses, all of our courses are set up in what we call modules, basically a weekly schedule. At the top of the schedule for every course, or top of the module, you'll get a checklist that will say, this is what you need to do this week. This is what you read. This is what you have to write. This is what you have to do. And every course has that checklist in it. So then you can decide when is the best time for you to do that work. Our modules are weekly. They run from Sunday to Sunday. So all of the work in a given module is due at midnight on Sunday. And then you'll start the next module. So there's typically 13, 14 modules in a full semester, 7 modules in a summer semester. So you can space that out how you like. If you like to, we have students who do almost all their work from Friday night until Sunday night. They cram it all into the weekend and they do everything. And then we have other students who prefer to space it out and do just a little bit every day. So that's really, it really is how you work best. And if that's something you struggle with, be aware too, we have academic coaches and we also have academic tutors who can work with you early in the semester to help you figure out your schedule, how to do that. If you're transitioning from in-person to online, sometimes it's hard to figure that out. So we regularly work with students to help them develop a schedule that works for them.
Okay, I do have a question about the advisor, that your professor who's an advisor, and what does that really mean and look like?
So your advisor is probably the most important person you'll have on this campus. Every student is assigned an advisor at the beginning of this semester. All of our advisors are instructors in the program. They're all practicing mental health providers as well. And the advisor will connect with you typically before you even get here. They'll send you out a kind of a welcome introduction letter, and they will meet with you a bare minimum of twice a semester to go over various how you're adjusting, what courses you need to take, how to register for courses, but they also become your #1 point person for anything that you're experiencing. So your advisor, typically students get pretty close to their advisors. They're typically texting their advisors, they email their advisors, they're calling their advisors for anything that comes up. So if you discover that you're having problems in a particular course and you don't know how to address it, go to your advisor. They'll help you talk with the professor or connect with the professor or with some resource at the college, whatever it is. They are your one-stop shop for just about everything. And then, of course, as you advance, your advisor becomes more involved in helping you more as a mentor and explore what are your career goals and options, what might be fitting for you. So they do have meetings with students. Advising meetings are mandatory at William James, and they have meetings with you that are for nothing other than saying, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What do you enjoy? What do you not enjoy? How can we translate that into a career that might work for you? Or is graduate school right for you? Or would you like to work and then go to graduate school? So your advisor becomes your mentor to help you move ahead in your profession.
That sounds great. Well, thank you. I think we've covered all the questions right now, and this is where I'm going to put in a plug. Please provide more questions. We have plenty of time. And I'm going to invite Jen to continue.
Awesome. So at this point, I'm going to talk a little bit about the admissions process for the Bachelor of Science completion program here at William James College. In the theme of making things very easy and simple for our students, the application process reflects that. We have an online application form, which is about 2 pages, 3 at most. It asks for some personal information, work history, things like that, that you will submit through the portal on our website. It's free to apply, so there's no fee associated with applying to the college. The next thing that we would need are your official academic transcripts from any and all institutions that you've attended. So if you've taken some credits at one school, a little bit more at another school, or if you've taken them all at one school, you have an associate's degree. We just need to see all of those transcripts so we can understand how the credits that you've previously taken will transfer into our program here at William James College to help facilitate you completing your bachelor's degree. Again, no SAT scores required, and it's free to apply. We want to make it as simple and as streamlined as possible for our students to apply to the college. So along with applying to school, there's also a financial component. We encourage all of our students to file the FAFSA to see what they're eligible for in Pell Grants, Stafford loans, alternative loans, federal work study, things like that. Additionally, as Dr. Augusto mentioned earlier, the tuition at William James College for our bachelor's program is very inexpensive and highly competitive at $500 per credit. We also offer currently a merit-based scholarship that could be up to 30% off the total cost of tuition. So that's something that you would be notified of in your decision letter if we are to offer you admission to the program. A scholarship offer would also be in there if you qualify. But in terms of loans, then we obviously encourage everyone to fill out the FAFSA as well.
Okay, a couple questions. Thank you everyone for putting your questions in the question box. What do I need to do to receive a scholarship?
Sure. So there is no application required with the merit scholarship. It's based on your application for admission. So like I said, once your application is reviewed along with your transcripts, we would notify you of our admissions decision. And if you are awarded a merit scholarship, that would be communicated to you through your offer of admission. So no additional work for the merit scholarship. It's simply based off your application for the program. Great question.
Okay, and then I see another question. So will my classes, all my classes and credits transfer from my undergraduate program? My community college program.
That's always the biggest question, of course. Yes, you put a lot of time and a lot of effort into your courses so far, and we try to make it as easy as possible for you. I can't say every course will transfer because we never know. If you took a course in, I don't know, dog grooming and it, I don't know, that might not transfer. I don't know. It's whatever the courses are that are applied to this program will definitely transfer. If you have human services or psychology courses, those will apply to this program as what we call course to course. So we have, for example, one section of your evaluation where I will look at which courses have you taken. If you took an abnormal psychology course, that transfers in as an abnormal psychology course here, and you get an open elective. You can explore something new and exciting. But the bottom line is we need 22 general education credits from you. We look to see that you have 3 credits of English, 3 credits of math, a science, a humanities, 6 credits of English, and then 1 more course in social science, humanities, math, or science. Those are required courses for you to come into our program. And then after that, we take 38 open electives. That is beautiful because what that means is that if you majored in, I guess, dog grooming, if you majored in music, if you majored in nursing, if you majored in anything else that's of interest to you, those credits will most likely come over. An open elective means that if you took a course and you earned a grade, we require a grade of C or better. If you earned a grade of C or better in that course and it was from an accredited college, that will come over. And so the vast majority of our students come in with their full 60 credits, sometimes as many as 72 or 78 credits come over. We work very hard to make sure that we acknowledge the learning that you've already done. And I think we probably do more than most, Jen, wouldn't you say? We try to really make it fit because we want to recognize that and respect the work that you've already done.
Okay, that's great. What a wonderful overview. Okay, so one more question around how many students would be coming in the same time generally in my class?
Your cohort? So the cohort has typically been around 15 for the fall. And then we have a January entry group as well. And that group is somewhere around 10, give or take. It's a little bit smaller than the fall entry, but typically around 15. I think we're aiming for probably 20 at the most, but most of your classes will be very small. We cap our courses currently at 16 to 18 for our core courses. And then we have some courses that are called writing intensive, where there's a little bit more need for feedback and writing and interaction with your faculty. And we cap those at 12 to 14. So really, that's kind of the biggest class you're going to have. I am looking at the fall semester right now, and the average class size, I would say, is 6. So, because you come in with a cohort, it will be that same group of people, but some of them might have already had one course or not another course. And so there's a little bit of mixing around, but the average class size stays very small. And we do that intentionally.
Great. Thank you. Well,
Sure.
that does complete our questions for today. And again, I want to say thank you to all the participants for all your wonderful questions. And I think we might have another slide, Jen, to just highlight the contact information for Dr. Augusto, for the admissions office, info@williamjames.edu. That will get you to Jen. If you were to email, you can just ask, Jen, what's the best way for folks to get a hold of you?
So typically, if you email the info@williamjames.edu, your message will be assigned to me and I will see it and respond. We do our best in the Office of Admissions to try and respond within 24 hours time. So please feel free, if you have any other questions after the session today, to email myself, Dr. Augusto, and we'd be happy to help.
Great. And we also have our financial aid department. They're very, very helpful. And certainly you can email them as well. And I do want to say our website has tremendous amount of information. It's wonderful just to get on and peruse it. It will give you a really good sense too of the college, the community, the offerings, what's happening at the college too. Okay. I think we have one more slide, and this is our social media slide. Join us, follow us on all these different platforms. We have a good way to get to know who we are and our culture here at William James, and just be part of the conversation. So please join us, but we want you to join us in our program. So please consider us here at William James. That you made it to this session today means that you have a level of interest that we appreciate, and we're here to answer any questions that you have and help you through the process. So I'm going to leave it to Jen and Dr. Augusto to kind of for their final words today.
Thank you for attending. I'm going to conclude right there and keep it simple, Beth.
Great.
Yes, I'll reiterate that. Thank you all for attending today. And I look forward to connecting with some of you offline if you have additional questions, and hopefully seeing your applications come through. So thank you again for attending, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone.